feel the need to put it out there that if my boyfriend ever breaks up with me, I'm legitimately just like pretending he didn't. Like, I'm refusing, honestly. I will still post pictures of us. I will find old ones, fucking post them as if it's the fucking day of, bitch. Like, I'll still post thankful for you, babe. Like, I don't care. I do not care. I'm not telling a single soul we broke up. No.
I think that's a red flag. I don't want to get stabbed.
All right, besties, it's time for part 2 of things that you never tell a man during the talking stage. And don't worry, a list of all the products that I'm using is going to be in the description for you guys. So the conversation about exes comes up, right? Totally normal. I don't care how bad any of your exes have treated you. As far as this new man knows, you've only ever been treated like a princess, okay? And let me tell you why. By telling him all the ways that your ex did you dirty, you are literally giving him a list of things that you are hypothetically willing to tolerate. This new man knows nothing about you. So everything that you're telling him in the talking stage is painting a picture of the kind of girl that you are. If you sit there and list off every shitty thing that your ex did to you and that you stuck around, you are indirectly sending 2 messages. Number 1, the bar is literally on the floor. And number 2, that you don't have enough respect for yourself to walk away when a dude is treating you like shit. And I am absolutely not saying that any of those things are actually true. We all have our fair share of shitty exes, okay? That we may or may not have learned our lessons from. There is nothing wrong with that, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm just telling you what a man is going to hear if you say those things. At the end of the day, whether or not you want to admit it, men and women speak completely different languages. So if you want to be perceived as a woman with standards and self-respect, you're going to have to say it in a man's language. So until the talking stage is over, he does not need to hear all the nitty-gritty details of how horrible your ex was to you. Do me a favor and save that story time for when you guys are already dating. Be vague and keep it moving.
Such fantastic dating advice. You know, gentlemen, I think that we should give this woman a round of applause for, doing what many other, I guess you would call them, quote unquote, dating coaches on TikTok do, where they advertise to just lie to the other gender, right? Oh, you should lie about your past because you need to speak the language of men. And these are the same women. They'll go out here and they'll complain. Why can't we find men who don't lie to us? We just want real, authentic men, when they themselves don't even know what authenticity even is. But what is going on, guys? It is Taylor The Fiend back again with another response video. And on today's show, guys, we are going to be kicking it off by breaking down a clip from this woman right here. And then we'll be getting into the other clip that we saw at the beginning of today's video. Now, guys, just a forewarning, okay? We're going to go through the clip again, and this stuff is it is headache inducing, okay? I want to give that warning right off the bat, guys, because the mental gymnastics that you have to perform to think that this woman's dating advice is a good idea is astronomically painful, okay? But guys, before we jump into the breakdown, as always, make sure that you come and join us over on Locals when the video is over, guys. The link is in the description. If you guys are interested in supporting the channel, this is a fantastic way to do so. It's totally free, but there are also support options if you're interested. The link is in the description. Guys, we hear all this stuff about the tech giants these days. Mr. Elon went over there and bought Twitter for, what is it, 44 billion, okay? And people are tired, right? And let me tell you this, as a content creator, guys, it's a little bit frustrating not knowing what the hell we're allowed to say. A lot of content creators, you guys might notice that content creators will like dance around words and stuff like that, and sometimes I'll say it and sometimes they won't. And the reason why is because we're not sure what the hell we're allowed to say. So guys, make sure that you come and join us over on Locals just in case we get nuked into orbit, because that's always the possibility. Now, with all that garbage out of the way, guys, let's jump right into this clip and prepare the brain cells for the assault that they're about to receive.
All right, besties, it's time for part 2 of things that you never tell a man during the talking stage. And don't worry, a list of all the products that I'm using is going to be in the description for you guys. So the conversation about exes comes up, right? Totally normal. I don't care how bad any of your exes have treated you. As far as this new man knows, you've only ever been treated like a princess.
Yeah, right. Right off the bat, what are we doing, guys? We're lying about our past. Now, both genders will lie to each other. We got dudes out here who will lie. We've got women out here who will lie. It's really interesting to notice the different ways that the genders will lie. And, nobody will really tell you this, okay? But a lot of the ways that, not all girls, but a lot of girls will lie in this way, where they will lie about their past, right? Because they want to obscure men's ability to make the correct judgment. Now, judgment in the year 2022, guys, this is a word that, like, has been associated with the oppressive patriarchy and Christian values, all this kind of, men suck. We've all heard it before, okay? But judgment is incredibly important to a man. Okay, and what these girls try and do is they try and remove your ability to judge so that you're a naive, sitting little duck, and you'll come out here and you'll date her. And hell, even if her ex-boyfriends have treated her terribly, guys, at least now she's ready to be treated like the queen that she is. Disgusting.
Okay, and let me tell you why. By telling him all the ways that your ex did you dirty, you are literally giving him a list of things that you are hypothetically willing to tolerate.
You are showing him what kind of person you are. That's what it is. You see, these girls, their past, it is also a reflection of their future. I don't know how many times I have covered on this channel, stories of dudes getting cheated on, stories of dudes losing all their money, all their assets. Hell, I hate that. This is the worst. This is worse, guys, than losing money and assets, okay? Dudes losing their children to girls like this. And, part of the reason why this happens and how it begins is because girls obscure their past, okay? You want to lie about all the men that you've been with or, who you are essentially as a person. What you're doing is you're essentially blindsiding a whole lot of men into thinking that, you're a person who, because part of respecting yourself is not breaking your own internal values. Now, if you're like... It's so amazing to me, guys. It's amazing the mental gymnastics that you have to jump through to rationalize just lying to the opposite gender about your entire past as if it means something. It means a hell of a lot. It is very important for men to know this information, but you know what? I guess that's just what we're doing in our days, guys. Like, everybody wants to lie to each other. And, when these girls wind up 30 and alone, consuming nothing but boxed wine and whatever the hell replaces Netflix in the next few years, I got nothing to say to him.
This new man knows nothing about you. So everything that you're telling him in the talking stage is painting a picture of the kind of girl that you are.
Exactly. So what you're suggesting to do here is to lie about what kind of girl that you are. Now, you can try and paint this as pretty as you like. You can try and sit there and tell men that, it's how you communicate with men. But the fact remains, what you're essentially doing is you're lying. And now, guys, let's go back to this little gem that we missed right here as well. Notice how she's saying the talking stage. Guys, welcome to the year 2022, where these empowered, womanist women have essentially degraded relationships to the point where everyone's in a talking stage now, guys. It's a talking stage. You don't have a relationship. You do not have a ring. You do not have a commitment. You do not have a title. And this is what we call the talking stage. Guys, back in the day, back in the wild old days of the oppressive patriarchy, guys, that, still exists with its systems of oppression and all that kind of crap. Back in the day, there wasn't really a talking stage. This is a newfound thing, and you can thank women for this, guys, for releasing men of the burden of commitment. Because, hey, you want some commitment? These girls can just go to the government now. I'm sorry. Why do you need my commitment? Okay, but carry on.
If you sit there and list off every shitty thing that your ex did to you and that you stuck around, you are indirectly sending two messages. Number one, the bar is literally on the floor. And number two, that you don't have enough respect for yourself to walk away when a dude is treating you like shit.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Why would a man invest in a woman who has no self-respect, and vice versa too? Why would a woman? This is the same question, guys, okay? Why would people go out here and voluntarily, especially in the case of men, because men typically risk a hell of a lot more in relationships. Okay, you stand to lose your assets. Let's be honest here, guys. Women are not typically getting in long-term relationships. Women are not out here seeking dudes that are broke. Let's just get that right out of the way. So why would you, as an individual, be it a man or a woman, because make no mistake, this girl's advice is damaging to women too. Right, it's not just the. It's funny when I bring this stuff up and people will be like, "Oh, he's just being awful towards women." You understand that this crap harms women just as much, right? If not more. You can argue that this advice is worse for women to listen to. But all of that aside, guys, imagine going out here and deciding, you know what? Me as an individual, as whether that be a man or a woman, I'm going to go out here and willingly invest in someone who clearly has no self-respect and no boundaries. Yeah, because that's going to be a fantastic environment for a long-term relationship, for kids, or for building a life together, I am sure. But hey, what do I know? I'm just an animated vampire. Let's continue on with the dating advice.
And I am absolutely not saying that any of those things are actually true. We all have our fair share of shitty exes, okay? That we may or may not have learned our lessons from.
That you haven't, and yeah, notice how what she has to do here. I'm going to play that back so you guys can listen to that, because that's amazing. She has to not tell her audience that they're idiots, while at the same time telling them that they're idiots. Like, check this out.
To walk away when a dude is treating you like shit. And I am absolutely not saying that any of those things are actually true.
Okay, bro. Okay. So not only are we lying to the men, not only are we lying to the men, we're now going to treat our audience as if they're idiots. Like, what a fantastic thing to do. You know, I hate when, like, guys, I strongly dislike it, should I say, when people come out here and they make content and they treat their audience like they're idiots. Like, I think that's one of the worst things that you can do. If people want to dislike your content, you see, the thing is, these girls, they'll try and be nice to everyone, and then they wind up looking like a clown to everyone. You see what I'm saying? Like, because they're trying to appease everyone. Like, for example, guys, people who come to this channel, not everybody is gonna like the layout. Not everybody's gonna like the videos, and that's the whole point. Like, you see, that's the point. But what these girls do is they have to pander to everybody, so they help nobody. Isn't that hilarious?
We all have our fair share of shitty exes, okay? That we may or may not have learned our lessons from.
You haven't learned any lessons. The reason why she says may or may not, guys, let's cut the crap here. These girls who date these quote-unquote terrible men, which, let's be honest, they're using adjectives like terrible, toxic, A-word, whatever, in a lot of situations, not all, but in a lot of situations, simply to describe men who won't commit to them. You know... Let's go back. Hang on.
We may or may not have learned our lessons from.
You haven't. You absolutely haven't. And you will continue to go out and continue to chase those men. Hell, it's just a cycle, right? Girls, a lot of these women, what they do is they go out there, they get into that long-term relationship. So they chase the chads. They realize that chasing the chads doesn't work. You know, so they're running out of time. So they go out there, they try and get married, they try and have a relationship. They realize that it's a bit too much hard work. They break up with their husband after a very short period of time. They take him for some money. Then they go back to chasing the bad boys. And it's like a cycle that repeats. And we're supposed to sit here and have sympathy. No.
There is nothing wrong with that, and it's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yes,
I'm just telling you what a man is going to hear if you say those things.
I apologize for keep pausing here, guys, but I want you guys to really pick up the little crap that she's saying. Listen to this.
We all have our fair share of shitty exes, okay? That we may or may not have learned our lessons from. There is nothing wrong with that, and it's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You know, people want to think that, like, oh, shame is a bad thing. Like, here's the thing, guys. If you make a terrible decision, you should feel ashamed of yourself. Like, damn it, I'm not making that again. Right? Like, where is people's willingness to be angry at themselves? Like, not overly angry, not like sitting in self-pity or anything like that, but to be able to look on your past decisions and go, man, yeah, look, I'm ashamed of that. I should have done something different. No, guys, we're just all going to live in bliss, and just accept all the mistakes that it's like, guys, how about we sit there, we take some accountability, and we say, yeah, man, that was stupid. I know I've done plenty of stupid things. And you know what? If I didn't sit there and say, man, that was stupid, Taylor, I'd probably do them again, you know?
I'm just telling you what a man is going to hear if you say those things. At the end of the day, whether or not you want to admit it, men and women speak completely different languages. So if you want to be perceived as a woman with standards and self-respect, you're going to have to say it in a man's language.
But you're sitting here telling women to lie about it. Right? How about this? If you want to be perceived as someone who has self-respect, this is a shocking piece of advice. Maybe you should have some self-respect, right? Rather than lying about attributes that you may or may not have, why don't you just have those attributes? Listen, guys, watch this.
If you want to be perceived as a woman with standards and self-respect, you're going to have to say it in a man's language.
Maybe you should just have standards and self-respect from the get-go. Right, and realistic ones. I'm not talking about these standards that you've got through the damn roof to where you're going to be single for the rest of your life. I'm talking about reasonable standards, reasonable boundaries, reasonable self-respect. Where are those things, right? See, she wants to have the privileges of having those things, those qualities, without actually having them. That's amazing.
So until the talking stage is over, he does not need to hear all the nitty-gritty details of how horrible your ex was to you.
Yeah, just those minor details, guys, that are truly character defining. Yeah, just those minor details. Let's just leave them out.
Do me a favor and save that story time for when you guys are already dating. Be vague and keep it moving. Oh yeah, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram for more.
Hell no.
I just feel the need to put it out there that if my boyfriend ever breaks up with me, I'm legitimately just like pretending he didn't. Like, I'm refusing, honestly.
I might be a little bit new to this, throwing this word around here, but would you not call this the A word? Abusive, perhaps, right? Like, this is creepy, is it not? Okay, a dude breaks up with you, and then your response is to say, no, I'm not going to let you leave. No. Guys, if people want to break up with you, if they want to do like this soft little breakup, I'm sure many of you guys have heard this before, or at least seen it on the channel, where girls will try and do this soft breakup, where what they're trying to do is they're trying to keep the benefits of having the boyfriend originally, whether that be you or some guy that we've witnessed in a Reddit story. They want to keep those benefits while going out there to find new men. It's like, no. This is a breakup. You're gone. A friend of mine, he's kind of new to our friend group that we have. I met him recently. We've been playing a little bit of World of Warcraft together. It's been good, right? This guy who I met recently, he seems pretty cool. He went through a breakup really recently, and he was telling me a little bit about it. I'm not going to tell too much of his personal life here, guys. Just stick with me here. Him and his girlfriend broke up, and he was saying how the girl was trying to do like a half breakup, and it was him that put the foot on the gas and said, no, this is a breakup. You brought it up. This is a breakup. And I smiled to myself, man, because that's good. Right, you see what I'm saying? Too many dudes and women too, okay, are out here where they're in relationships with people who want to try and keep one foot in the door and one foot out the door. No, you want to go. And I was so happy when my friend told me that. I thought, good for you, man. Good for you, right? That he did that without anyone telling him. He just said to himself, no, this is screwed up. I'm gonna, shove her out. She's gone. And I thought that was a fantastic decision. So props to him. But let's continue.
Will still post pictures of us. I will find old ones, fucking post them as if it's the fucking day of, bitch. Like, I'll still post thankful for you, babe. Like, I don't care. I do not care. I'm not telling a single soul we broke up.
That's disgusting. And this is something else that I brought up on a recent episode. I forget which one. But this is stuff that girls will often do. So if you guys don't know about this, okay, a lot of girls who, this is a slightly different situation, but a lot of girls who are not real, they're seeing a dude, okay, but the dude is not in a relationship with them really, or the guy doesn't want to be seen with her because she's embarrassing, the first video. Girls will not be allowed, the dude won't allow him to be posted on her Instagram, so she'll take like photos of like, oh, his foot somewhere or his hand or something like that, because guys don't want to be seen with these women anymore, right? They don't. Or they'll say like, my ex-boyfriend, he did this. But if you actually ask the quote-unquote ex-boyfriend, he'll tell you that they were never even together, because she wants some of his status, you know what I mean? She wants to appear like, oh, she locked him down, but you had nothing. This dude won't even let you post him to your Instagram, and you're here trying to tell me that he's your ex-boyfriend? Get the hell out of here, man. Embarrassing.
No.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. The bar for dating is in hell. I went on a date this week and I was overjoyed that this man took out chapstick and put it on in the middle of the date. That made me feel happy inside, because there was like a lot of icks, couple of red flags. When I got home, I really thought about it. I was like, oh wow, that was an okay date, but he did put on that chapstick, and that shows that he really, wanted to have nice lips. Like, that's the bar for a good date.
What does that say about you? Right? What does that say about you? We've covered many TikToks where women will open the TikTok when they're talking about their dating life, and they'll say, the bar is so low that I got excited when blank, and she'll say something like this, or she'll say something like, he opened the door for me, or he actually organized where to go, and it's so surprising. Now, whenever girls say this, I actually take it as more of a reflection on themselves, because what it really communicates is the kind of things, the kind of dates that they're out here having. And when I say dates, I mean it in quotations, okay? Right? Like, when you say that you're surprised that a dude opens a door for you and you consider that to be a good date, what you're really telling me is that you just go over and see dudes, and that's your version of dating. Like, you just go to dudes' apartments, you sit there, you watch Netflix, you have a little bit of fun, right? And then he tells you to get the hell out because he has to be out. You know, he makes up some excuse because he doesn't want to talk to you. Okay, that's what it communicates, right? And now, if you want to go into your next relationship and you want to omit that information from the man, you're essentially lying about what kind of person you are.
Nice lips. Like, that's the bar for a good date.
I've been seeing a lot of people being like, are you okay? These look like they're starting to get to you, which is like so nice. Like, starting to get to me.
I've been losing my mind for months.
Changed my mind about men and women weren't meant to equal in all things. What? This somehow got me to agree with you, but I just don't think in the way that you meant it. I'd love if my partner was a bagel. Honestly, same. Look who just showed up for some fun. You ready?
There are some moments in these videos, guys, where I think it's just necessary that we have to pause and appreciate the fact that, you know, we could have had any animal here, okay? We could have had a bird, we could have had a dog, but we have a cat. Now, you all know, guys, I hate cats. Terrible animal. Dogs are way better, okay? You know, if you disagree, boys, you know, you're obviously wrong. I'm kidding, okay? But, you know, the meme of these girls being 30 plus years of age and, you know, they're here with their boxed wine and their cats. It's like, there are certain videos, guys, where I don't have to say anything and a cat will appear, you know, or like she'll be sitting there with some boxed wine and I'm like, you know, obviously my character only has one animation, but I'm just looking at you guys and you can imagine me going, look, I told you so. Like, I absolutely told you so.
You ready? That was a hard no. I swiped
Yeah, see, cat doesn't even like you. What are you doing?
on you by accident because you should probably go a little bit slower then. Because let's face it, there's no one on here worth my time. I'd have better luck finding quality, intelligent, sexy women on the moon. Prove me wrong.
That's a fantastic bio. I believe that's what we in the, you know, we call that based, right? I believe that's the term, that's based. I love how this guy, okay, he says this, right? I'm going to play this back. Okay, listen.
Should probably go a little bit slower then. Because let's face it, there's no one on here.
This guy, I'm going to read it to you guys, okay, again. It says, I swiped, so this is a dude's profile that she's trying to roast here. I think this is hilarious. The guy says, I swiped you by accident because let's face it, there's no one on here worth my time. I'd have better luck finding quality, intelligent, sexy women on the moon. Prove me wrong. And then like his one thing that he puts here is that he's a non-smoker. I don't know about you guys, but I would call that absolutely based. Now the thing is, this bio, if it were non-satirical, would be, you know, but the thing is, it's satirical. Now, how many times have I shown you guys, you know, women's dating profiles that are like this, but they're not satirical, right? So if you're gonna pull up a you know, profile to roast, at least make it non-satirical, right? You know. But let's move on.
Here worth my time. I'd have better luck finding quality, intelligent, sexy women on the moon. Prove me wrong. Good luck finding quality, intelligent, sexy women on the moon. Nobody lives on the moon.
This individual actually Googled, does anyone live on the moon? And she tried to, she included this in her TikTok. This is embarrassing.
Bagels though. There might be a few on the moon. This self-destruction right off the bat is like so indicative of how tired people are of these apps. He's like getting ahead of it. He's like, if we match, you're not gonna want to talk to me. So I didn't even want to match with you anyway, bitch. And I get it. I understand being frustrated, but this is a self-fulfilling prophecy at this point. You can just delete your profile. All that this is gonna do is further prove your point, which is just going to further perpetuate your anger that nobody is talking to you. Like,
you ever see these girls and they like try and just like psychoanalyze everybody rather than just, you know, realize that it's a bit of a joke? Like, oh, this joke says terrible things about you. It says that you're going to be alone forever and you internalize and blah, 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 blah. It's like, bro, it's just a bio that the dude made to be a bit of a meme. Now, it would be a different case if the dude was being satirical, but non-satirical, but the guy's clearly being satirical. But this girl just feels the need to try and psychoanalyze him, you know, psychoanalyze him.
You sound like really mean. So you don't seem like super approachable. So I feel like that's like probably not like contributing positively to your experience. A light suggestion, take it or leave it. Like maybe don't be such a dick.
Nah, yeah, and I see, again, we're just wrapping it up with some absolutely terrible advice here. I don't know about you guys, but I think that man's bio is fantastic and he deserves a round of applause. But guys, let's continue into today's magazine article, then maybe a Reddit story if we have time, and then we will wrap up today's episode. Now, I wanted to continue with this, guys, with you guys on this this magazine that I had pulled up last episode, where we're here and we're talking about narcissistic men, because, you know, no matter where these women seem to go, guys, like for some reason they just can't seem to escape the narcissistic terrible men out there. So obviously, what have they done? We have a website here called, this is unironically, this website is called Love Panky. We have a website here to, you know, to teach these women what a narcissistic man really is. So let's take a bit of a listen, guys. Sit back and chill and let's go over this dumbassery. It says, what is a narcissistic man like in reality? You might wonder why anyone would stay with a man showing these types of traits. It's an easy assumption to make and probably a right one from the outside. The thing is, they're not like that at the start. They're like a wolf in sheep's clothing. A narcissistic man will be the epitome of charming at the beginning. He will lasso you in with his charm, wit, kindness, and sense of humor. It's only when he's pretty sure that you're totally emotionally hooked that he will let the act drop and become his true self. Again, you're probably reading that and thinking that a narcissistic man is truly evil, but that's an unfair description. Remember, a narcissistic man or a woman has a true condition, and they do not choose to act in this way consciously. They simply know any other way. Of course, that doesn't excuse the way that they act and the pain and upset that they cause people, but it's not fair to label them as evil. Once you are emotionally hooked, his true colors will show, but he will not do this immediately or all at once. There will be small signs that all is not well. For instance, he might tell you that the outfit you're wearing doesn't suit you, destroying your self-confidence in that moment and causing you to cancel your night out with friends. Yeah, so telling a, you know, girls will say like, oh, you know, be honest with me, blah, 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 blah. And here we are in this article, guys, being told that if you tell a woman that the outfit she's wearing doesn't suit her, that's a sign that you're just a narcissistic individual, right? So I guess if it doesn't suit her, guys, we're just, you know... And you wonder why men don't want to talk to you, right? Like, you wonder why dudes are just not interested in having conversations with you. Because if a dude is honest, maybe your outfit doesn't suit you, and he's being honest, now you're just going to consider him, you know, that a sign of him being a narcissist. Really intelligent stuff here, ladies. Fantastic work. As a result, he's making you reliant on him and alienating you from your circle. He might do something, and then when you question him on it, he'll deny all knowledge. He will tell you that you're imagining again, and you begin to question your own sanity. This is classic gaslighting, one of the most commonly used manipulation tactics by narcissists in general. These girls have no idea what the hell narcissist means. It's disgusting. Just as you reach the point where you think there's something a little wrong and question why he's treating you this way when he claims to love you, he will notice your doubt. Then he will switch back to his original charming self. You see, at his very core, a narcissistic man has self-esteem issues and relies on your neediness of him to validate his worth. Despite that, he has an inflated sense of self-importance in terms of his views, his ability, and his appearance. It's a total contradiction, and that's what makes narcissism so difficult to understand unless you've seen it firsthand. You know, guys, like, I'm gonna lean back in my chair and bring the mic back here, because this, goodness me, this is something, okay? Listen. Girls will say that, you know, this stuff is very difficult to spot, and it's, you know, it's really hard, and you know, you need to understand what a narcissist really is, right? You need to be in a narcissistic relationship, and then only then you finally have the understanding to see how terrible these men are and how to avoid the traps. Guys, I've made this point many times, I think in the last week or two, but let's take a moment and let's wind back the clocks a little bit here, okay? Back in the day, guys, fathers would typically make the decisions for, you know, who their daughters got married to, who their daughters had relationships with. You know, hell, even brothers would have good insight on this, okay? And the thing is, fathers, men can spot this stuff mile away. They can tell if a dude's going to be bad for the daughter, not going to have a fantastic relationship. And here's the thing. If you take a father to pick a partner for the daughter, very high success rate that the partner that he chooses is going to be good for the woman. Now, what happens, guys, when you open up the dating marketplace and you allow these girls to, date whoever the hell they want, which, go ahead, okay? What do we end up with? Okay, we end up with a whole society of these girls who just seem to choose nothing but narcissistic men. So what do? They need the 3 steps to find out whether he's actually a narcissist, despite actually knowing very little about narcissism to even begin with. Absolutely clueless behavior. Let's continue. What are narcissistic men like? Here are some red flags to look out for. It's time you knew the signs of a narcissistic man. He's a perfectionist. This doesn't mean all perfectionists are narcissistic men. A narcissist is obviously going to exhibit many of these signs, not just 1 or 2 of them. True narcissists believe everything must be perfect, whether it's themselves, you, or an event. Of course, because nothing is perfect, they're usually unsatisfied with everything. But the thing that sets a narcissistic man apart is his tendency to project perfection, even if he is far from it. To a narcissist, displaying perfection is all that matters, whether he is truly one or not. That's just a byproduct of projecting perfection. Number 2, he needs to be in control. Because narcissists are always striving for perfection, they need to be in control. They have the perfect idea of how things should be and how things should play out. They need to know what comes next. If not, they're left unprepared and unprepared with what to say or how to act, and that's not a good look for them. They need to look cool, calm, and collected at all times. Next one, he never takes responsibility. One after that, his needs always come first. Next one, narcissistic men lack empathy. Let's take a look at this one. This should be interesting. When you're a narcissist, you don't care about the feelings of other people. How could you? If you did, then you wouldn't act so selfishly, right? So if you're sitting across from a guy who is unable to empathize with you, that's a sign that something isn't right. It doesn't mean he's a narcissist, but it shows he's unable to read how he's feeling. Guys, I have a bit of a different perspective on this, okay? Maybe men can see how you're feeling. They see the situation that you're in. And it's not because they're an a-hole or because they lack empathy and they're narcissistic or they're sociopathic, okay? Maybe men just don't care because they shouldn't. I know that's a far-fetched idea, guys, but, maybe if you're out here, let me put it to you this way. If these girls are out here ruining their lives of their own volition, going out here, dating these quote-unquote terrible men, refusing to do anything productive to help themselves, whether that be financially or otherwise, why should you give your empathy? Right? Like, is empathy... Here's the thing, guys. Empathy is a fantastic thing to give out when it's deserved. Undeserving empathy. Have you guys, this is one of my favorite phrases I have ever heard in my life, guys. I don't know where the hell I heard this, but this is absolutely one of my favorite sayings that I've ever heard. Somebody, if anyone wants to quote where this is from, if anyone's still listening after this long in this video, one of my favorite sayings is, virtues, when taken too far, become vices. Okay, you want to go out here, you want to be empathetic to everyone, you want to care about everyone. You can't help anyone. You see what I'm saying? Okay? But let's continue to the next point. He holds a lot of shame. Narcissistic men are deeply insecure and fearful. Most narcissists have experienced trauma and rejection. However, they repressed it. With shame, they feel something is wrong with them as a person, so they fight those feelings back by hiding them. Number 7, he hasn't had any long-term relationships. Number 8, he's a bad team player. Number 9, he's extremely charming. Most men are charming, so don't freak out and assume someone's a narcissist. I don't know if most men are charming. You see, this is the thing as well, is these girls, when they make these statements about men, I have nothing against blanket statements, guys. Like, I have no problem talking in generalities. I doesn't offend me in the slightest, okay? But the thing is, if you're going to talk about generalities, make the generality correct. Okay, so here we have a girl here saying that most men are charming. I don't think most men are charming. I think a lot of us are clowns, to be honest. I would consider myself a bit of a clown, okay? Most men are not charming, and what this indicates is that she's talking about a very small subset of men. Notice how when these girls talk about men, they're not actually talking about men collectively. They're just talking about the dudes who won't commit to them in dating, or the dudes that, who they can get a little bit of commitment from, but not really. That's who they're talking about. But charm is one trait narcissistic men have mastered with time. Narcissists want to be seen as special, someone you will admire. This also means that by them being special, you're seen as less. Basically, he's far too good to be true. Now, guys, this is very interesting because you might notice that a lot of these points, these don't actually describe, NPD or narcissistic personality disorder at all. These are just like dot points that these women hate, they make to say that dudes are narcissists, when all it really communicates is that she's mad because dudes won't commit to her. It really is just the case. But guys, we're going to be wrapping up. Actually, no. We're going to be covering a dating profile at the end of today's episode. Now, I might bring this one up on tomorrow as well because we mentioned it so late, but I wanted to show you guys this one, so we might see this as well make an occurrence in tomorrow's episode. But I want to show you guys this. Okay, this is amazing. Here we have. I'm gonna slowly lead you guys into this one. Okay, so this is the dating profile that she has, the picture, and I believe this is on Tinder. So I'm gonna scroll down and show you guys her bio and stuff in a second. Okay, but you guys can't really see it, but up here she's got a chest tattoo. You guys can barely see it, but I can see it on my end. There's a chest tattoo, I believe, up here. We got the very tight dress. We got the faded pink dyed hair. Okay. Now let's take a read of her bio and see what she's putting. Okay. So she is a 24-year-old woman, and first line on the dating profile is that neck tattoos win my heart. Right, you want to talk about girls who can't select partners and going after quote unquote narcissistic men. Going after straight up, we're just going to go with dudes with neck tats. Now, I know a few guys with neck tattoos, guys. I think, most of the dudes who I've met with neck tattoos, completely nice and everything like that. But why would you just open your dating profile with this? You know what I'm saying? Like dudes with neck tattoos, they're the type to break your heart and not talk to you again. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. I have a 7-month-old, so if you're into MILFs, let me know. So this woman has a 7-month-old, so chances are, decent chance she had the kid when she was 23. Jeez. Let me know. But so she has a kid when she's 23 and the dad's not around. That's amazing. That's amazing. I have a 7-month-old. Let me know. Bonus if you're good with kids or you're a single dad. She's a bi-liberal, of course, naturally. And the last line she says here is that animals are her life's purpose. Very interesting. Very fantastic stuff, guys. Can't wait to get out here on the dating market. Fantastic stuff to see. But guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, remember to leave your thoughts and your comments to some of the things that we have covered here today. Don't forget to come and join us over on Locals. The link is in the description. If you guys are interested in supporting the channel, both Locals and Patreon have options for that. Locals is totally free to join, guys. We're posting archived content over there because you never know with YouTube these days. So make sure that you go and sign up. Totally free to make an account. I know a lot of other content creators are making accounts over there these days because you never really know. But otherwise, guys, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace. Yo, what is going on, guys? Past Taylor here. Just want to say thank you if you made it to the end of today's video. Before you head out, there's just a few announcements that I'd like to make. The first is that my editor, who goes through all of the blood, sweat, and tears of putting together content for us to endure, has started his own YouTube channel. The link will be in the video description, so make sure that you go and show him some support by going and giving him a sub. Also, we are currently looking to expand fiendish content creation behind the scenes, so if you're interested in becoming a content creator alongside me, be sure to check out the application form at the very bottom of the video description. This is for those of you who are interested in becoming a part of the content that you see here on YouTube. So if you're interested in applying, make sure to get in quick. People who apply first will have priority for consideration. Again, the link is at the very bottom of the video description. Lastly, if you guys are interested in supporting the channel, there are links to both Patreon and Locals below the video, guys. I'd like to extend a huge thank you to the supporters on those two platforms. You guys allow me to make these episodes, and your support is greatly appreciated. As always, guys, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I will catch you later for real this time, guys. Peace.